No module of teamwork is ever complete without talking about the wisdom of geese. The internet is full of videos to talk about the wisdom of geese and why, if only we as human beings can think like geese and act like geese, can we make an excellent team. Why does this happen? Why do we say this so many times? The question that everybody asks ourselves, and the question you need to ask yourself, is why do geese fly in the formation that they actually fly? If you've noticed them migrating from one corner to the other corner, they fly in this V formation where there are a lot of geese this way, one behind the other, but entirely in the V formation. So why do geese fly in this V formation? And every video and every website talks about 4 major reasons as to why this happens and how that makes them a very effective team. And the first reason, first and foremost of all, is that the goose at the front, the geese that are flying before and ahead, actually take care of a lot of the effort, and by the time that wind traction is passed on to the next goose that is behind, 70% of the wind draft really reduces, which means that the geese which are right behind in the other rows need to put in only about 70% of the effort. In fact, actually less than that, to really make the same kind of a speed and the same kind of a distance that the first geese are flying through. Which means that we as team members, if only we were to look at how can I make my other team members' task easier, how can I make things, our life easier and support them so that they can complete their task too with less of an effort. And if each and every one of us were to start thinking so, then we would be able to fly in a perfect formation just like the geese fly. What else? Oh, have you ever heard that when geese keep flying, they're constantly honking? There's a honk, 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 constant noise, sometimes to the level of irritation, saying, oh my gosh, they would pass by soon. Hey, but the geese honk for a very specific reason. They honk so that the goose or the geese at the front continue to put in the effort, because those at the front as the leader need to put a lot more effort to actually move forward against the wind. And so they constantly honk by encouraging and appreciating those at the front so that they keep moving forward. How many of us consciously make an effort to appreciate our team or the team members? How many of us say good job, or how many of us take it just for granted? Consciously trying to motivate the other person and by appreciating, saying what they have done well, is one way that we can be a solid team player that can help the team to propel forward. What else? Well, no story about the geese is complete without talking about what happens if one of them gets injured. Remember, they're flying miles away, they're migrating hundreds of miles, and for those of us working in a team, we have targets, we have team goals, projects that can run for weeks, for months, for years sometimes with the same client. Very similar to the fact that you migrate hundreds and even thousands of miles sometimes. Setbacks are natural, failures are natural, just the same way like injuries are natural for the geese. So what happens if in those miles and miles and miles of flying, any goose gets tired or is not able to continue or gets injured? It stops and it flies down from the flock and it stops on the ground. And the interesting thing is at least two more geese stop and fly down along with it and then stay with this particular goose, either until it is rejuvenated and recouping the energy to start flying back, or sometimes if it's not able to recover till it dies. And then these two geese start off and join the next flock or the next formation. Now, I'm not saying that you can just move off from one team to another, but I'm saying, are you there to support your team member? Have you got your team members back? And that is how trust levels can be built. When failures happen, when setbacks happen, when targets are not met, do we support each other or do we blame each other and point out fingers? This is another criteria. That's a powerful learning that we can take away from the geese. Now, along with all of this, here's another extremely curious and interesting point, is when the lead goose, the one that's responsible for reducing 70% of the traction for the rest of the geese too, when the lead goose starts to feel tired, it pauses and it flies back to the end of the formation and the second goose takes out its place. What does that mean? that there's shared leadership happening, that when the right subject matter expert is there for a right project, that person can take on the lead even when that person is not the leader or the manager. So choosing to know that, listening to the person that maybe could be a junior in the team, that maybe can be somebody that is less experienced than you are, that maybe can be somebody that has a diverse, versatile experience. But in that situation, in that scenario, that individual has more of a focus and more of knowledge to execute that particular project or task. Letting them take on the lead and letting others know how to move forward is extremely important for us to keep sharing that leadership, to keep sharing that expertise and that strong position, so that no matter what the situation, we can keep moving forward. So these are the 4 main parameters everybody talks about when they say about the wisdom of geese in teamwork. If only we learned to work together as a team, just like the geese did, we would definitely be able to migrate thousands of miles across anywhere. We would definitely be able to execute any project for any customer anywhere. So think, move and act like the geese as one team. This is Revati Turaga from the Leadership Unlock channel. Like, share, subscribe and come back for watching more.